Hi everyone, my name is Kelin and I have what I call Hull Family Homestead with my husband Brian and my two kids Chloe and Liam. We are in central Indiana and I have been blogging for, I don't know, it feels like a long, I took a brief hiatus when I was in graduate school and I'm out. I've been out of graduate school for a year now and I just thought it would be fun to start vlogging. We're not that good at it yet, but we'll get there. I think it's a really good medium to sort of reach out and connect with a lot of different people who might be interested in the same things as you, who might have more knowledge than you about certain things that they can help you learn and grow. And likewise, maybe I know something that someone else doesn't, so I can help them grow. We have been homesteading here at our small little ranch home. It was built in the 1960s for almost 10 years. And I don't know, this is just like an introductory video. I just want to take you on a tour of the homestead, let you sort of see what we see every day, see how things are growing, and why, you know, we feel we're homesteaders, even though, you know, if you look around, I have neighbors. You know, there's a house there. There's a house there. You don't need acres and acres of land or, you know, this magical farmhouse to garden and to try to learn to do as much as you can with what you have. And that's really what homesteading is about, is what space do I have? What materials do I have? How can I make the most of it? And that's what we do. You know, we have just under half an acre. We have a 1,500 square foot, I'll turn around, ranch home. This is the back. Oh, sun. Oh, there it is. You can get it now. That's what our house looks like from the back. You'll get some front views in upcoming vlogs. It's not big, right? But we're here and we're doing it. And I think what we want to encourage others is, as much or as little as you want to do, don't feel pressured. Like you have to suddenly tear up your whole yard to make a garden. But like, even just a few raised beds, right? I think there's so much that can be, there's so much that gardening and the activity of doing it as a family week after week, it just does something really magical. It's very healing. You know, I think we have certainly had our share of mental and emotional trauma and difficulties. You know, maybe not everything is traumatic, but some things certainly are difficult. And we've had our share of both, and coming back to the land, working at growing food together, cooking the food together, all of that is really healing and magical. It's a form of self-care in these trying times. So that's a lot of an intro of me talking. I don't want to spend too much time on this. You'll get taste of this throughout, but hopefully that helps you understand who we are and what we're doing. And let's just take you on a tour of what we're doing. Okay, so we're gonna start our tour in what we call the main garden. So just a little bit of wayfinding. The homestead house is behind us, and that lovely arbor there is built by Brian, my husband. And the main garden, let's see, it's, forget the measurements, you guys. It's in my garden planner. It's like 20 by 24, I think. It isn't the biggest garden in the world, but we have a secondary garden and a greenhouse. So, I mean, the growing spaces combined, we have quite a bit of growing space. Hi, Hermione. Hi. Sorry, that is a chicken right behind me. Her name is Hermione. She's a little put out. We'll go to the chickens after this, but I wanted to tour the main garden. This is the first year we're doing this layout, and I am just so in love with it. We have this mulched path. Here, if I can turn the, so you can see that mulch is from when we played lumberjack in the forest behind us, and we can just walk around our garden on the path. And we have 3 central beds. It's this sort of perimeter bed all the way around, and then the raised beds for strawberries, and then a front bed for melons. And it makes it a destination. You know, we can come, we bring our morning coffee, we come walk around. We just really love it. The cats love to come in here. So ignoring that, I need to weed because that's just always a thing I need to do. I can weed daily in this garden. We have so many beautiful trees around, and so much wildlife that comes in that we do get quite a few weeds. But it's manageable. The tomatoes are the worst right now because I haven't weeded them in a few days. But yeah, it's just things. It's June. It's the second week in June right now, so things are getting really big and lovely. Our blueberries are starting to ripen. I'll show you guys. I'm so psyched. We've been getting strawberries for weeks now. Zucchini is flowering, cucumbers are flowering. Everything is really happy and loving it, so hooray. Just a few gardener's notes, I guess. Our soil, we're in central Indiana, so it's kind of like a heavy clay, but we've been gardening on this spot. We dug this garden when we moved in. We moved in May of 2011, I think. Yeah, 9 years. Okay. Yes. Because my son turned 1. We had his first birthday in this house, and it was our housewarming party. So, yeah, we've been amending the soil with compost and leaf mold and other things for years and years and years now. So the soil is much better. It's still kind of like a clay, but it retains, it's loose enough to work. It retains good moisture during droughts. We have really good luck with it, so I'm pleased with what happens. And then we always, every spring, dump more compost on. And then this winter, for the first time, we're trying sort of like a green manure, like a cover crop. We're gonna sow winter rye, and then usually we let the chickens in, and they have such a good time. So since they're so talkative, I'm gonna go talk about our chickens. Here, we'll go out in the main garden to the left. The chickens are, you know, next to the gardens so that they can go and enjoy it periodically. We did used to let them free range all day, every day. And our neighbor actually trains hawks. And it's just a very circle of life moment, which is funny. So, I mean, we had a rooster. We would have Homestead little chickie babies. They would run in the yard. And when you free range, you have to expect that not everyone will make it, but there were just a few moments when our entire flock would nearly be decimated, and I just was not okay. My little heart can't take that. I would just come home and treating injured birds and scared birds, and I just know they are livestock, but they're part of our family, and I want them to have as good a life as possible, but also a really healthy and prolonged life, let's hope, right? So even though perhaps free ranging them would help them stay mentally and emotionally fit, they would get eaten. You know, we are just surrounded by thick, dense forest. We get coyotes, we get other things, we get hawks. So it's happened too many times. We do let them out if we're home and attentive to free range, so they do get out, but not exclusively. So my husband built this chicken coop 5 years ago. And I love it. We previously had chickens in what we then called the barn, and I'll walk over to there right now. It's on the right side of the garden, so the garden's behind me. We're coming up to the barn. It's no, it's just like a shed. I'm hoping to turn it into a really lovely potting shed. Right now, it's just so ugly. Believe it or not, this is an improvement over what it was when we first moved in. It was white, and that's fine. But I wanted to make it prettier, and so I picked out this really pretty sort of pastel green and pastel blue. And the trim was going to be blue, and the back was green, and I got the green on. And my husband has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Painting, and so he has a lot of strong feelings about color story and contrast. He's just really super into contrast, and I prefer complementary colors with very little contrast. So I had a very complementary color palette, and he wanted something contrasting. And our compromise for this was to paint the trim just this hideous, like rusty orange color with the green. And I would just sit in our living room and stare at the barn and get really angry about life. And so I gave up one day and went to the hardware store and just was like, what's a good exterior paint color palette? And they were like, here. And so now it's really ugly. But I'm gonna paint it this summer because that's one of my projects. Is I would like before winter for that to be a more usable potting shed space, so that I don't have to pot in the greenhouse, which we're gonna go in right now. So it's like a tunnel. It's not a greenhouse. We like calling it a greenhouse, but it's PVC and plastic that we made ourselves, and it's still under construction. Like you're gonna see, duct tape and tears and things. We just got it up this spring, and we had so many windstorms. Like, it was not a kind spring. So this plastic has been put through the ringer. We have big plans to make it better before winter. But for now, I mean, my goodness, here, if I can get... Oh, I mean, plants are really happy in here, and we started everything from seed practically, and things are still growing. Here, I'm going to be growing tomatoes. I think those tomatoes will stay in the greenhouse because we have the space. Tomatoes love really rich heat, so I think they're going to be really flavorful and good. I'm excited about that. So this is the greenhouse. I think, I forget the size on it. I don't know, it's fairly substantial. If I can find it, I'll put it down below in the description, but I think it's also on our blog. So here, a little bit of wayfinding. There's the house, and then over here is the garden, and if I walk forward, we're coming up to another new area this spring, which is the raised bed garden. And here, I'll turn around so you can get a... Ooh, bug flew at my face. So there it is. This was previously... I had done a raised bed garden here for years, and then I went to graduate school, and chickens. We had 30 chickens at one point, and that was way too many to try to be free-ranging, especially on our yard, our half-acre. And they just completely destroyed this whole area, and so it was a bit of an eyesore. It's kind of messy right now. We had a giant, here you see that, like a giant windstorm yesterday, so I need to stop vlogging and start cleaning up. But yeah, I mean, we have 4 raised beds. This is let's see if I can get it in the shot. So this one behind me gets shade during the heat of the day, so this is sort of our greens bed. It has peas and broccoli and lettuces and arugula and spinach and radishes. But then all the way, if I go over here, excuse me, giant tree branch that fell down. These front beds get just baking sun, even more so than our main garden. So this front bed is actually a Mediterranean herb bed. We've got lavender and other yummy goodness things in there. And then we also have a lemon tree right here. This is new this year. I'm so excited. And then all these beds, I did previously have landscaping here with sort of a butterfly and herb garden, but nothing this extensive. I'm so over the moon with it. It, like most of everything, needs a little bit of weeding right now, but things are starting to bloom and the bulbs are starting to come up, so I'm really excited. We have roses and just really pretty plants coming up. And then we're on the patio now, which is not a growing space, it's a relaxing space, but I can point you back and you can see, you know, potting shed, main garden, greenhouse, raised bed garden. And then right behind me, we do have a pond. It's not in service right now. We had such a difficult winter with freezing and thawing. I know there's a lawnmower, I'm sorry. The pond, we had a lovely pond. We had fish in there, and this winter was just freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing. Somewhere in there, there's just a massive leak. And so in the middle of winter, we had to find a fish tank and like scour around and what water was left and save our fish. And now we have like these big koi living in a fish tank in our house, and they're very upset about it, but they are alive. And I remind them of that daily. So we have to repair our pond. It has this lovely waterfall. But I love the pond because it's useful for wildlife. You know, we get frogs, we have so many birds. They just love to like stand on the waterfall and bathe in there. So that needs to happen. It's good for, and the bees, all the things, everything is good for them. And then I show you the forest in another video. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but we do use the forest. There's food we can forage. We're also going to be starting mushrooms, which is pretty cool. I'm super psyched about that. And then we have our compost area, obviously. I think you probably saw it in the background of a few things. That's the original compost bay we built. Here, I'll walk down there, intending to add on years and years ago, and it just never happened. So we'll be relocating, I think, towards the forest, a new 3-bay compost area with a leaf mold pile, because one bay is not useful unless you're just like a super turner, which we're not. So right now, it's kind of gross, but I'll show you. So we have like all of this lovely finished compost that's completely covered by new scraps, obviously, that need to be turned. And it's just not as useful as it needs to be. And we use compost so much that we really need more efficiency there, so we don't have to buy it. So that's it. That's a tour of the homestead as it sits right now. I'll be probably doing more tours as the season progresses because things change around here and we do different things. I write about the garden and what we're doing kind of weekly on the blog as well. So if you're interested in reading about that, I give a little more detail there than I do here. You can certainly check that out. There's also recipes and other things on the blog. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about this vlogging journey. I hope you'll stick around. Upcoming, let's see, I've already filmed the lumberjack forest video, so that'll be coming. And then I have some video about some strawberry jam I made. And then we also did a little bit of landscaping in the front of the house because that had been neglected for a few years. So those are all coming up. We'll probably be publishing videos, I'm hoping, for once or twice a week. We'll see how this goes. My husband Brian is trying to be the editor, but so busy. So I might be having to edit, in which case that'll slow me down because I'm also writing the blog and making all the food and doing this. So yeah, we'll try our best, but hit subscribe, hit like. Thanks for being here. We're happy you're here, and we'll see you next time.